It will remain a big question for us whether any of today's buildings will be admired for their beauty in the future. The reason for this doubt cannot be found in the absence of competent architects or employers who love architecture or in the indifference of the public. There are certainly enough of these, but what is missing is a consensus on what architectural beauty is. The fact that there is no consensus on this today shows that all these efforts have been in vain. Adolf Loos designs are proof this idea, because his designs sometimes caused controversies, but undoubtedly he is pioneer of the modernist movement. Turning his back on Art Nouveau and Secessionist decorative exuberance, Loos argued for a more austere, reserved, and considered approach to design. Steiner House is on a manifesto of the architect. It shows the architectural principles, rationalism, the main facade, with its curved roof, designed by an architect to exclude the entire architecture of the arts to solve a function. Transition from classical to modern architecture. That is very abstract of Steiner House. I am from background and founder of BEA+, and I am going to talk about my personal thoughts about Steiner House. The house that he designed around a painting studio for the painter Lily Steiner and her husband illustrates this approach. The simple, crisp white facade, together with the curving metallic roof and central dormer window, made a statement that was taken up by the early modernists. In the beginning, Adolf Loos's goal was maximize the space at his disposal without violating the building regulations of suburban Vienna. At the time, only one floor above street level was allowed. Loos's solution was an arched tin roof, which contains two additional floors, giving the structure its somewhat austere and futuristic look. The facades are the public part of the house. Loos designed them smooth and unadorned. The interior is the private side and reflects the personal taste of the owners. Each volume has the size according to its own role until all the internal spaces were under a single roof plane. Carried out in this way, a remarkable spatial economy. The house shows the architectural principes of Loos, a design to exclude all tools of arts to emphasize function. On the facade's windows are irregularly arranged. Their sizes and heights differ depending on the interior to which they belong. Loos's concept applied in many of his works. The principle implies an intuitive understanding of space as a consequence of the free composition of volumes and plans. The Steiner House also exemplifies the opposites of architecture, including public and private, interior and exterior, rational and irrational. When you enter the house from 3-story high metallic roofed facade, you face with a couple of small and dark rooms, and these are opening larger rooms, and then you again face with narrow corridors and larger rooms. These are the oppositions that Adolf Loos used in his works. These are kind of an anti-rooms that create opposition to other large and bright rooms, because you never understand how bright is the room or building without dark and shadow. When we look at the outside of the building, we can sense the basic volumetric composition of the form. We note zero ornamentation. The white stucco forms both reflect and create shadows. This modern architecture is almost inevitably rendered in white because it relieved of superfluous decorations. Modern architecture became associated with the predominant use of white surfaces to highlight the volumetric composition. Combined with the concept of material truth, white-colored architecture is often understood as straightforward, clear, and sincere. Further, the roof is sheet metal and the walls are concrete and bricks. This curving, billowing form becomes the transition old and new. The curvy bulkhead feels weighty yet soft, an example of expression and release in action. Also, in the windows and balustrades, wood used to adapt to the climatic conditions of Central Europe. The interior of the Steiner House is surprisingly rich, featuring a wealth of natural materials, wood-paneled walls, and built-in furniture, including corner seating in the living room and Chippendale furniture in the dining room. When we look at the wall, it consists of 3 different finishes. First one is brick, second one is polished dark oak panels, and last one is white render. Also, the same wood used on ceiling supports. Flooring is also made with wood. Generally, this room is giving warm atmosphere to its owner. And because of the architect know this, he added built-in furniture to this room. The same material group is used most of the rooms of house like this entrance room and other rooms. The other important material here is rugs, probably because rugs are decorative objects that have multiple uses. At the same time that it helps to delimit a room without using walls or other partitions, it can also warm the environment, making the use of space more dynamic. Furthermore, it is a decorative object that, by covering a considerable area, can be used as a tool to give identity to that place, emphasizing its neutrality or standing out as a focal point. That's why we see these carpets in the room in two different ways: small and several in the living room, large and single in the dining area. Based on Adolf Loos's other projects, I can say that these carpets were chosen in a contrasting color to the white and dark wood, and to increase the warmth here. Considering all its features, the biggest feature that attracted me to this project was, even though some decisions of the house is open to argument, like different floor heights, different window types, and small dark rooms, this house definitely provides comfort for the owners, because the house built up the architectural principes of Loos, a design to exclude all tools of arts to emphasize function. However, when the architect has achieved his goal, he is like a host who has provided every comfort for his guests. Being his guest is a pleasurable experience, and Adolf Loos obviously succeeded it in the Steiner house. For me, it is not the best design of him, but it is the very beginning of other successful designs.